Hi, and welcome to another episode of Inside NDF, sponsored by National Dance Foundation. Each week, we interview another fascinating member and mover and shaker of the dance community. This podcast is dedicated to dance and dance education and those who make it happen. Inside NDF is sponsored by National Dance Foundation with the mission of hashtag KIC, kindness, inclusion, and community. And we really believe in reaching out, creating opportunities, and giving everyone the opportunity to dance. So today we're happy to bring back and introduce you to Mark Biondi, who also shares those values. So as we said, we're so honored to have you back. Thank you so much. For those of you new to National Dance Foundation, Mark is a board member. He actually serves as vice president of the board, and we love working with him. So, Mark, just to give a little history, you and I started working together, giving special needs dance scholarships with the ability to perform at NBA games and performances. Now, moving forward, many other studios and dancers have really been able to take advantage of that opportunity to dance at an NBA performance because they've been able to fundraise with Luv Michael. So, before we talk about what's going on with Luv Michael, those who are unfamiliar about it, can you just give us an explanation of how the fundraising works?
Absolutely. And hi, Kathy. Thanks for having me back. I'm really honored to be here. And I get to talk about two really amazing organizations, National Dance Foundation, which I'm truly honored to be a part of and serve on the board, and Luv Michael. And it's, it's an interesting synergy that both of those organizations share in supporting kindness, inclusion, and community. And so we've been really excited on the Luv Michael side, I think, to see dance studios take advantage of that platform to raise funds, to do the things they love to do, and then at the same time to give back to National Dance Foundation and support you. So it's really special. So let me share with you a little bit about that program. I really love what they do, so I kind of sit in these two worlds, which is cool. But I think I have a lot of experience in the fundraising world, and I think what they do is particularly unique because it's really a community service project for a dance studio. And I think most fundraising is sort of built around maybe selling a product or doing an event. But this one is really about helping a charity. So it's probably good for me just to give a little background, Kathy, maybe just a little bit about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Luv Michael was founded by really dear friends of my wife and I for their son, Michael. And Michael's now 27, and as he was coming into adulthood, like many adults, he faced some challenges because there's lots of support for children on the autism spectrum, and Michael's on the autism spectrum. But as adults, there's not a lot of even awareness, and it's just people don't think about that. So they started a bakery. We make this really awesome granola, and we use that.
Fabulously delicious, if I may just butt in there. We love it.
It really is. It really is. But we use that, the making of granola, to teach job skills to adults on the spectrum. And we have a bakery that employs, we work with about 50 families, and it really helps to build job skills, and it's paid work. It's a meaningful paid job. We're a nonprofit, we're a charity, and through that, we need to help fund it. So they had come up with a fundraising program, a team fundraising program. But they didn't want to make it where people sold granola. They wanted to actually make it not about selling. I think actually selling a product can sometimes be doesn't feel great for some folks. So the idea was to have a fundraiser where you didn't have to sell anything, but instead you were actually helping the community. And what the community needs is advocacy. So we need people out there talking about adults on the spectrum and helping to open up opportunities. So that's really what a dance studio does. They sign up for a Luv Michael fundraiser. Someone on the team walks their families through a quick little Zoom presentation, and we have technology that allows each of the dancers to have their own little campaign page. And instead of asking their family and friends to buy something, they simply ask them to support this mission with Luv Michael and help support them in their dance studio. And in that message, we ask them to share a few really important things that I think if everybody knew a big hurdle for the autism community would be not eliminated, but I think eased maybe. And we asked them to share some of the things that they learn on that orientation call. And when they share that out to folks, they ask for a donation. And when people donate, 50% goes to the dance studio. The other 50% goes to Luv Michael. And then it creates a job for someone on the team, because somebody at Luv Michael, who's an adult on the spectrum, gets paid to put together their thank you. And they handwrite them a thank you card. They send them some granola. They pack it up with information on how to be a better friend to the community. They ship it to the donor's door directly, and there's no shipping charges or anything for that. So it's like a really special moment. I think it feels good for a fundraiser, which is not always the way it feels. It doesn't feel great. So this one I think feels really good, and it turns your studio into an amplifier of a really important message. This is impacting 1 in 36 families right now. So it's an issue when you think about that, right? And after 22, for most of these young men and women, there's not a lot of state-funded services. So you got a lot of young men and women who had all this support and now feeling really alone and isolated. So we get your studio talking about it. And, through that, talking about something is incredibly powerful. And we think opportunities open up. So it's really easy. It's free. You just reach out to Luv Michael and you can get started. And then the coolest part now is, with this partnership with the National Dance Foundation, we Luv Michael gives the studio 50%, and then 5% actually. Luv Michael takes 50%, and 5%. I'm sorry, Luv Michael takes 45%, and 5% goes over to National Dance Foundation. And it's really it's really exciting way to help promote the initiatives around NDF, because through kindness, inclusion, and community, and getting an opportunity to make dance accessible to all is a critical component for everyone, but particularly the special needs community. To know that the world is welcoming is really important.
And you and I often use that word synergy so much, and this is almost a perfect example of synergy. So this fundraising, it just completes the circle. So the group gets to fundraise so they can go and have a great time and perform at something like the NBA pregame performances, which are fun, or another activity. It funds the work for the special needs adult community on the spectrum, which keeps that going. Great learning example through it, because they learn so much about it, and that spreads out. Then it benefits NDF through the generosity of Luv Michael, that 5%, which then helps us to be able to fund scholarships so special needs dancers can dance at these NBA games. So it's really amazing. So I encourage everyone. We will have the link right here in the YouTube channel. We will have the link right there, or you can go right to our website and see it. So, Luv Michael, 10-year anniversary. What new exciting news could you tell us?
Yeah, so what we're really excited about in 2025 is, so much of what we do at the organization is reflective of Michael's family kind of trailblazing what it's like to have an adult on the spectrum, and sort of the challenges they face. So the first thing they did was think about meaningful work, and that's how the bakery came to be. But there's a bigger issue out there, and the bigger issue is independent living. And as parents, like many parents, are asking a tough question: is who's going to be there for our adult children when we pass away, when we're not here anymore? So in 2025, well, actually in 2020, we started a second nonprofit, and we called it US Autism Homes. And we started with one house on the east end of Long Island, and really tried to figure out how we could help families navigate through that challenging question and help young men and women live independently. And we've been running that now successfully through 2025. And in 2025, it's our 10-year anniversary. US Autism Homes is becoming Luv Michael Homes. And those two organizations are going to work in tandem together. We've grown that now to 3 houses, serving 9 residents, 2 young women, 7 young men. This is a major issue. There's about 11,000 people on the waiting list in Long Island alone. It's a really challenging issue. What we were able to do, and really want to thank NDF, because you connecting us to dance studios was a major funding source for us. In 2024, September of 2024, we held our first conference. We held the Luv Michael conference. We had about 100 families from all around the country. And we were just sharing with them, hey, this is what we're doing here to get them maybe a head start in their community. So our goal is to scale this and help families figure out.
That's
It's
amazing.
really super complicated. I mean, it is super complicated to do. It is, but it's so needed. And when you look at the statistics now, 1 in 36 kids being diagnosed on the spectrum,
It's a lot.
it's like a tsunami, right? Like that's those young, they're going to become young adults. They're going to become adults. This is an issue. So we really have to work together. And, now we feel like with Luv Michael, this sort of little universe we have, it's workforce development. That's part of it. Independent living, that's a big part of it. And when we work with studios and they become advocates, that's a critical piece, because we could prepare these young men and women for the world of work, to go out into the community. Dance studios out there are preparing the world to welcome them.
And that's a very interesting statement, because with the dance studios, what it is you're working with young people. So now these young people are going to grow into young adults. And this is going to be now something that's going to be forefront, or as we always say, culture, that this is a needed necessity. It's a spoken about something. The more you talk about something, the more results you can get. So the more they're aware and they feel good about this, and the more they move forward, then as they grow up, then they'll take these same values with you. So that is working with young people, gives you longevity. Now, let me ask you this question. I know this is not easy. You're quite a busy person with everything you do. So why personally, and what keeps you going? Why is this so important to you?
I think it's the scope of the issue. I could put myself in the same category as many of the listeners out there right now. If you mention the word autism to me 5 years ago, I would have probably just said kids. I would just thought about kids, and that helping to change that narrative, I think, is critically important. It's definitely something connected to in my family, and so there's such a need to do it, to help families figure this out. That's what keeps you going, because you can see every day you make a little progress. You get a lot of setbacks. You're working. It's like a public-private partnership. You're working with the government on things. You're working with families. You're trying to manage a lot of relationships. And we work with folks with pretty high support needs, right? So the scope of autism, I think the diagnoses has expanded, but we concentrate on folks who would likely need someone with them 24/7. So I think it's the scope of the problem, Kathy, that kind of keeps me going, because there is no alternative. What's
There
the
is
alternative?
no end game for this. It's a constant
Yeah,
flow.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Now, why I know most dance do we just, through many of these podcasts that I've done, the studio owners or dance teachers are always trying to help their students become leaders and partners and take the lead out in the community. So why is this fundraising program, which we talk about all the time, but to let our viewers know, why is this so beneficial and helpful for the dance community?
So I think, I really do frame it. Well, first off, thank you at NDF for all of the connections, for helping us,
Thank you.
these relationships. And it's really been such a catalyst to us moving forward. So we're, eternally grateful for the partnership. I think, dancers and artists in general, this is a great moment for them to learn something. It's a great moment for them to be a leader, to give back, but at the same time, also understanding that dance can be expensive, and you need to raise funds, because there's a lot of amazing things that people want to participate in where finances could be the barrier. So why I think this is special is because I think it gives you a unique way to approach it. And we really frame it as a service project, because at its core, it's advocacy. those dancers learn something and they're teaching others. They're not selling anything. And that's why I'll share this with folks. We actually give the dancers community service hours to participate, so they all get 10 hours of service to do it. A lot of the dancers are in National Honor Society and things like
Yes.
that. They need those hours to, so this is a really cool way for them to get that. And this year we introduced something super cool. At a certain threshold, anybody who raises $500 or more, our team sends them a graduation cord with a special for the team. And like, that's our way of recognizing them for for the support and the commitment. We never know who the dancers are talking to or who any of our fundraising participants are talking to. And it was really amazing. Like, we've seen some pretty incredible connections that have come through someone donating to a dancer's program and then wanting to connect with Luv Michael, whether that's that we start to help them in their area because they have a loved one on the spectrum. It even got us connected to Kohl's department store, and they actually became a supporter of Luv Michael, which is really cool. So all that stuff sort of happens. Like you said, talking about things is powerful, right? It
Correct.
normalizes things. It makes it okay to talk about, and that's really the first step to open up opportunities.
So what I know that with NDF, we were able, the National Dance Foundation, we were able to go out into the dance communities to conventions and conferences and be able to focus on that. You were wonderful going out and speaking to everyone. So what would you want people to know about NDF and Luv Michael, and why both of these organizations, they're so entwined, even though they're separate and they work together? It's such a positive partnership. So what would you like them to know?
I think dance studios are in a unique position to really be an influencer on young people, right, and an influencer on the community. And so when that studio embodies what NDF is all about, kindness, inclusion, and community, that's the world I want to live in, right? That's why I think it's so critical. So when folks, dance studio owners, become a part of NDF and they work with Luv Michael, they're making that statement to their community. Hey, this is the world that we want. We want a world for all.
And that's why you and I talk about this all the time, that nonprofits with the mission of hashtag KIC, kindness, inclusion, and community, are so important for, like you say, that's the world that you want to help kids to create, even if it's just a little corner, but that's something that they can create. So wonderful. So before we go, why would you like to encourage young people to get involved with Luv Michael and NDF?
I think it's a fantastic way for them to, define themselves, like of the type of person that they want to be, the type of studio they want to be, and the type of world that we want to create, right? We're helping them shape their world. I think these organizations help or dance studios and dancers alike to shape the world and build the world they want to live in. So I encourage all students to become, a part of Luv Michael, a part of National Dance Foundation. It really does. The studio owner is such a key piece to this. So we're so thankful for the studios who've participated in Luv Michael, who've become proud partners of NDF. You're making a statement that really does differentiate you from the other studios in town, right? Because I think at the core, when we sign our children up for an activity, it's not about them becoming professional dancers. It's
Correct.
about them becoming amazing people. And if they can learn to be an amazing person through dance, that's beautiful.
Correct. And we are so thankful to Luv Michael, because the opportunity of working together and being able, that your donations really help NDF give back to the community, to give those special needs dancers scholarships. I know for the Bulls, we were able to give 10 scholarships out. Every year for the 76ers, we gave some scholarships out for them to be able to dance, were families that might not have been able to do it. So thanks to you and Luv Michael, we're able to give back also. So thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate it. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. And if you'd like to learn more about National Dance Foundation and all that we've said, again, on the our YouTube channel, you will find a link for Luv Michael, Or if you go to our website at nationaldancefoundation.org, you will also see prominently up on the top Luv Michael, because we truly evaluate that partnership. So we will get ready and say goodbye, and we will see you next Friday again at 12 noon Eastern time. And as always, before we end, we say, keep dancing. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Dancing.